And we're live, so welcome to this week's first edition of the Ask Karen. This is where I interview members of the group because the label or the title, coach, consultant, therapist, or healer, really doesn't explain exactly what they do. So, this is an opportunity for them to share with you guys and explain what they do, how they do it, who they help, so that, yeah, if you want to get in touch, get in touch. So, my guest today is Elaine. So, Elaine, if you would like to share with the listeners a little bit about who you are and what you do, first of all.
Okay, hi Karen, and thanks for having me on. So, I'm Elaine Molloy, and I have been working with health for the last 24 years. So, I originally trained in Ayurveda, muscle testing, massage, energy healing, and that all kind of rolled into one sort of a ball of information. And so, when people come to me, I can see what's going on with them. So they come to me often for medical intuition. So I can see, feel, know, hear what's going on with them. I can see the root cause and what they need to release to let go of illness. And I specialize in the emotional causes, this emotional and spiritual causes of illness. So I'm able to hone in and find the beliefs and the emotions that are causing illness and get them to release them. I also have a vast knowledge of herbs, supplements, food. I'm a foodie. To guide people on how to live well and how to supplement if they need to. And apart from that, I'm basically a channel for spirit. So I don't just use the medical intuition. People often come to me for like love relationships. I love romance. I love helping people with their relationship issues. I can often give, I can see the perspective of where they're blocked in themselves, in their own personality, and where their partner is blocked. And so I help to move them through those blocks and release them and give insights. And I can help people with finances, with career, with life purpose. And one of the greatest loves I have is to help people to become healers, because we all have these healing abilities within us on one level or another. So I teach people how to dip into other cultures in other dimensions. So I lead people through guided meditation to different places like ancient Hawaii, Lemuria, Atlantis, ancient Egypt, and beyond. And I help them we've all had past lives, so I help them reunite with those past lives and past gifts. And I initiate initiations to those healing abilities. So I think
Wow.
that sums me up, Karen.
What don't you do then? Maybe I should have asked. So for somebody to come to you, I mean, right, okay, so I find all of that fascinating. So, but what benefit would somebody have coming to you to have a past life meditation? What's the end game there?
Um, I always feel the end game really is to live better, isn't it? It's to have a better life. What is the point in living if you're struggling with this, that, and the other, or you have these blocks, like whether it's physical, ill health, or struggling. Like I've seen over the years, people have patterns. They've patterns of behavior. They've patterns of blockages, and I love to help people move through those. And often it's the simplest thing, but we keep repeating them. You could see somebody, say 30 years ago, and they've a block with money, and 30 years goes by, still have that same block. They're still repeating that same pattern. So I love to help people get into the subconscious mind and go, well, look, you have this belief since you were 7 years of age. Let's look at that, bring it to the light, and basically kick it to touch.
Lovely, love that, bringing it to the light, and that really is it, isn't it? I suppose
Yeah,
yes, we are running programs, aren't
totally.
we? throughout our day. So how wonderful. It's almost like like the film Matrix. Go get everything unplugged so that we can redo it. So in a way, that's my sort of visual of what you can do. It's just reprogramming everything, because if we're running a program and because we have repetitive thoughts, then I reckon we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and over 90% of them are repetitive. It would make sense that we are on autopilot and running just our pattern, our program again. So if you're struggling like that and you think, oh, that sounds like me, maybe get in touch with Elaine and she can work her magic. Awesome. So how can you share a bit of your story? How did you find this path?
Yeah, sure. Well, initially I studied languages. I was raised in a family. My parents loved Spain and France, and they brought us. They were sort of very cutting edge, because in those days in Ireland, people went to have a holiday in a caravan up the coast, But my parents were they were interested in traveling abroad, so they brought us to Spain and France and Germany and places. And I got very interested in languages, and I studied languages. Because it was kind of convenient. It was easy to go to that university, but deep down I knew that I was more interested in health. I had an interest in studying speech therapy or maybe occupational therapy, but all that was on the other side of the country and not affordable. So I went into languages, worked in international business for a long time. But really, I was frustrated and I was bored, and I kept, I'd take on like an administrative job, and then like almost a year later or less, I'd be like, oh my God, I can't stand this. And I'd quit, thinking that there was my pattern, right? Thinking I could get a better job elsewhere, but really I wasn't working in what was fulfilling me. And at the same time, I had developed health issues myself, probably from my own frustration. My mind wasn't happy, so my body wasn't happy. So I started researching then, what's making me ill. And I stumbled across Deepak Chopra. I found a little bookstall in a gorgeous little village outside of Boston. And his book was The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And it's kind of a complicated book. I think I read it 7 times, but really you can sum it up in a nutshell. And that book asks you the question, what do you love to do and how can you serve? And so I realized I loved nutrition. So I started studying nutrition. Then I found it was full of chemistry. And I always say that's a language I don't speak. Yeah, I can't figure out chemistry. But that led me to Ayurveda, because then I saw the ad for Ayurveda. He had introduced Ayurveda in that book. Then I found another book by him all about Ayurveda, which was like as if he was completely speaking to me. So I found a diploma in Ayurveda in Boston, where I lived at that time, took it on, took to it like a duck to water. By the time I had finished that diploma course, I already had clients lining up to see me. And I remember my first client was a lady who was a runner, and she had this hacking cough. And I talked to her. I realized she had an imbalance with water. I put her off her big bran muffin that she was eating every single day of the week, and other things, probably cheese and dairy and so on. And she actually, the cough stopped. She had had it for years. And she dropped 7 pounds. Now, she was skinny. She didn't need to drop 7 pounds. But she was delighted because she could run faster. So was the beginning. That was my first client. And the more I got into Ayurveda and the more I got into helping people, the more satisfaction came. Then I discovered Reiki. I discovered energy healing, rainbow healing. I attuned, I brought in other symbols that were basically given to me by spirit. So the more I worked in this industry, the more it opened up, the more I was given, the more I dedicated myself to service, the more I was given.
Because you're more in alignment with what you isn't that interesting? Well, like they say, when you're ready, the teacher will appear. So it sounds like everything just sort of flowed because you were finally doing what you love. You were in alignment. So all these wonderful modalities would come up, and that does seem to be how things work, isn't it? So,
Yeah,
so if
love.
you're watching this, all our links should be down there to connect with Elaine. And I know you had a question for me, Elaine. So, what
Yeah,
is your question?
Karen, I'm at a different stage of life, and so my work has always been a sideline because I have three girls and they keep me busy, and a husband who keeps me busy. So I want to scale up then from being a sideline to doing more and getting my work more out there. And in particular, for example, I had a client this morning and I was basically helping her with stress, and I did it, spontaneous guided meditation with her. And I was thinking to myself, if she had this and she could play it back, she would keep herself on a good track. So I want to create audios. I want to record my voice. I want to get my meditations out there, my classes out there. I want to share myself more without having to work more. I don't want to give all the hours away in the day. So that's my first question.
Okay, so basically, how to scale your business. And yes, this is where I think a lot of people get to the point where, especially if it has been started as a sideline and you get clients and everything's sort of going with the flow and you're in alignment with it, but it's very much one to one. The beauty with the internet is that your reach can be um, anywhere, right? So all it would take is really getting crystal clear on what specific
Mm,
problem do you really want to solve and for who.
mm,
Now, I know for you, you do so many things.
mm,
However, I would suggest that maybe when you're going to scale, it will be a lot simpler and easier to focus on just one thing. So then design and create a whole program
mm,
that you can create, including some meditations, some pre-recorded videos where, because obviously I know the problem that a lot of therapists, healers have is, it's very individual, right? However, I'm sure as you've gone along that you must have seen some similar patterns maybe. So there could be something that you could maybe make a little bit more generic
mm, mhm,
and do a series of videos with some information. So, some whole program that combines it and then run it as a hybrid. I'm a huge fan of hybrid programs. My own academy is very much hybrid, where you could maybe sell it as a package online using social media. So yes, they can go in and watch, day one or, however many, whether you wanted to do it daily, whether you just wanted to do something once a week, however you wanted to do it. But then maybe make it a little bit more bespoke where you can include, I don't know, once a week or once a month, either a 15-minute, a 30-minute one-to-one session, so that you're working smarter and
mm.
not harder. And
Yeah.
obviously, the work is going to take to do it in the beginning. And I get that. It will take a while for you to structure this specific program, but it's going to be worth it in the long run because you build it once. I mean, I'm not going to lie, you'll probably tweak it, as it goes, as I have done. However, when you've done the majority of the work, it will be then, in fact, a lot easier. You're going to spend less time and you're in control because then you will choose the hours that you work, and you can fit it in or in around it. But it's getting clarity on what exactly you want to create because, especially for you, Elaine, you do so much. If you try to do it all, overwhelm's going to set in, and we all know that when there's confusion or overwhelm, nothing gets done. Whereas when it's just one, your focus is on one thing, and you could include lots of things within that package because then that will make it unique to you because there's going to be nobody else quite like you, Elaine, right? So making it a very unique package that is going to solve a specific problem for a specific type of person rather than trying to help everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally, totally. And when you were saying that, I was hearing the answers of what I wanted to solve. So that's perfect.
There you go. Absolutely fantastic. And that really is going to be the way to go. That I know, I felt the same in the past where sometimes I have all these ideas and I could do this and I could do that and I could help. And then, it's just overwhelming. It's just overwhelming. And when we just bring it in and realize, maybe we're not here to help everybody, although maybe would like to. But then when we focus in on just one thing, we can really create massive change. And like you say, people will come to you maybe once and they'll benefit from it. But how much more would they benefit if they had the ability to listen to that meditation daily? Because we know this is how we change, not from a one-time event, but spaced repetition. So actually, you will be serving your clients a whole lot more if they had access to that rather than only having a specific time and having access to you. Does that help?
Yeah, completely. And
Brilliant.
really is everything. Thank you, Karen.
Good. And that's all we need sometimes is just the ideas to get formed and then sort of bring it in, narrow it down, and get it moving.
Yes.
So thank you for that. Lovely. I know we met a couple of weeks ago. Lovely to have you on here, and thank you for the question. So if anybody else is watching and they're going through the same thing and they're a little bit stuck as to, which way do I go? Which way do I turn? Bring it in. Get in alignment, really. Meditate on it. Ask, right? And the answers will come. So thank you, and I will be back in a couple of days. Bye.